Hi, everybody. My name is Noelle Ebert, and I'm your librarian here at Southwestern. Today, I want to talk to you about our EBSCO databases, where you can find journals and ebooks and lots of different resources for your homework and research. They've recently had a big update, and their website looks a little bit different, but it still has the same functionality you're used to before, and I want to show you how it looks now. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start off on my Laker link. You can find a link to the library here on the left under Quick Links, and you can also find us on the main Southwestern website. So we'll just let the page load for another minute, and we're going to go to our Where to Research page. That's a list of all of the databases that we subscribe to. You can see it right here under Learn More. This page has an alphabetical list of all of our databases, but we're going to talk about Academic Search Complete. That's kind of the flagship database for EBSCO and a really great place to get started with your research. It has a lot of different resources on a lot of different topics, and it's just as easy as typing in a word or phrase right here. So before we go any further, right now I am on campus, so it let me log in automatically. But you do have access to all of these databases 24/7 wherever you are with an internet connection. If you're off campus, you're going to see a page that looks like this before you can log in. Just enter your 7-digit SWOC ID number and hit sign in. If your ID number is shorter than 7 digits, add a 0 to the front until it's long enough, and then you should be able to log in no problem. If you do have problems, though, please reach out to us at the library and we'll be happy to help you get those issues resolved. So why don't we dive in and talk about global warming. You notice that the database is suggesting other terms and phrases that might be useful to me. And I'm really liking this suggestion of global warming and climate change. Why don't we choose this one? This is going to yield more related results, give us a bigger pool to look through. So with that search, it looks like we had almost 30,000 results, which is great. One of the benefits of a database are all of the options you have to limit those results down to the things you're really looking for. EBSCO has moved the main limiters, the main filters, up top here. So let's talk about what each one of these means. If we click this full text box, we are only going to see results for resources that we can read in full right now in this database. If we don't have a lot of time before our assignment is due, this is a really good way to streamline our research. But if you do have a little bit more time, it can pay off to look for other citations to find things that might exist in different databases or in other libraries. We can always order articles from interlibrary loan from libraries all across the world for free. So if you're ever on Google and you find an ad for an article and it wants you to pay $60 for it, please don't. Please come talk to us first and maybe we can find a way to get that for you anyway. Another limiter you can use is this peer-reviewed button. A peer-reviewed article means that this research has been verified and authenticated with a host of scholars and experts in the field. It's a good idea to throw in a peer-reviewed article or two as you're doing your research. And in fact, sometimes your professors will require that. So don't feel compelled to make every single article a peer-reviewed article, but make sure you shake it up a little bit. It'll help round out your research and impress your teachers. With this limiter, we can choose what publication date range we are interested in articles. Let's take off this peer review just for a better sample. So right now, all of the results we're seeing have been published just throughout time. Some topics, it might make sense to have a historical perspective, so it could be valuable to leave this one alone. If you want resources that are a little bit more current, you can also choose by these limiter phrases here. So if you want something in the last year, choose this one. Finally, you can sort by item type. Maybe we're interested in an academic journal, but maybe we also want to include some newspaper or magazine articles for a more recent digestible example to include in our research. You can see all of these different options here, and if you want to limit by type, just select one of these boxes on the side. We also still have all of the other filters we had access to before. If we click the All Filters button, a menu is going to pop up on the right side of the screen to give you some additional filters. I always like to look at ones that mention subject because those are going to tell me related terms and phrases that are popping up in this current pool of results. This can help me find different ways to direct my research and honestly just find the ways that the database itself phrases things. Sometimes the difference between the word juvenile and adolescent can make all of the difference, even though they seem very, very similar. Whenever we can match our language to the database's language, the better off we'll be. So take a look at all of those different options and see which ones might be most useful to you. Why don't we take a closer look at one of these articles? You can click the title link to find out more information about it, such as the authors, the citation information, related subjects, and most importantly, the abstract. An abstract is just a short summary of an article, and you should always take the time to read it before you dive into the full article. Decide here if this is going to be a good fit for you. Check it out. This article is 18 pages long. I don't want to invest 30 minutes reading this article and decide it's not a good fit when I could have made that decision with just this information here. So keep that in mind as you're going through your research to help you stay on track. If we decide this is a good fit, we have access options where we can read it. It looks like we can choose between a PDF and online full text. Most are basically the same. So from here, we can read this article in full. And we have a few other tools that are useful up here on the top of the page. We can use this Cite button to generate our bibliography citation to include at the end of our report. So APA or MLA are probably the most common citation styles you'll encounter. So I've chosen APA from that drop-down field, and from here I can copy and paste this to the end of my paper. Now, you should always double check to make sure that the citation is formatted correctly. You can use that with a style guide or with the OWL Purdue website. Lots of good information about citing your resources correctly. You want to make sure to do that to avoid plagiarism. If we want to come back to this article, we can use this arrow button to share it. You can email it to yourself. You can set it up to one of your cloud drives if you have one, or you can create a link to come back to. We can also download the article for later. That's my personal preference. I like to download the articles so I have access to them whether or not I have an internet connection. So keep that in mind if it's useful to you. We can also translate the page if you want to read it in a different language. And finally, you can also listen to the article. All of your player controls are up top here. You can adjust the playback speed. And a new feature is you can download an MP3 version if you have to travel and you still want to get some work done. This could be a good fit if you learn best from listening. So that's really the basics of using the EBSCO databases. Just want to show you a few more tricks. We're going back to our search results. Now, if we had combed through all of these results and we weren't happy with what we had, we can always expand our search to other databases. EBSCO databases can be cross-searched together. So if we wanted to look at more than just academic search complete, we could click the link up here. And from here, we can pick and choose different databases based on subjects, or maybe we want to include an ebook, or we could just go ahead and select them all. Let's see what happens when we do this search again across 66 databases. Oh yeah, that increased it quite a lot. So if you ever are having trouble in one database, this is an easy way to expand our options. Finally, another feature that they've built in is access to the publication finder. If you're ever looking for a particular title, such as the New York Times, we can look for it directly here. The New York Times is a newspaper. Let's take our journal limiter out and check it out. Our first result is the newspaper, and it tells us that we have access to this title in our Gale databases. Gale is our other major suite of databases like EBSCO. So with the publication finder, we can even do some cross-searching outside of even the EBSCO databases. So if there's ever a particular journal you're interested in exploring further, this is a really good way to look for information about it. So that really brings me to the end of the new features I wanted to show you in the EBSCO databases. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. You can email us at library@socc.edu, or you can give us a call at 541-888-7270. So thank you so much for your time. Again, I'm Noelle Ebert, your librarian, and I look forward to working with you. Have a great day.